Hello, working on the next part of the Mystify screensaver effect. You can probably see up in the background there, the lines bouncing around. If you look at the actual screensaver though, it's not one line, it's a set of a few lines, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 following each other as they go. So we need to implement that part of the effect. And as we saw before, the lines are just visual connectors, they're not really relevant, so what we need to work with is the points where they intersect at the corners, and those points are what's bouncing around. So I have one single point here. If you see the red ball bouncing around in the foreground, we're going to make that one have a few followers, maybe 4 followers for a total of 5 points. Now the first thing I'm going to try, which is very easy, is to create some more spheres following behind it, and I'll just give them smooth transform components, which I don't think will get the effect I want, but it's so simple to test, I might as well try it. So let's see, I have this open in the inspector here. I don't particularly want to copy the entire LogiX setup though, so I'm not going to make a copy of that. I'm going to create a new one. If I could do that without getting myself out of position here. You probably can't see anything. I'm going through my inventory right now, trying to grab a shape tooltip. And now I got an extra. Okay, we'll make a sphere. We'll make a few copies of that. 4, as we said. I am going to want to put those in the right place in the scene hierarchy. So I'll just grab these 4 spheres, put them over here. And I'll just assign them names so I can keep track of which is which. Actually, that probably won't be necessary because I'm going to have to, for the smooth transform test, I want them nested inside each other to make a smooth transform chain. So I will do that. Okay, I've got a whole set of spheres here. I'm going to attach smooth transform components to them, which if I had done that before I copied them, I would have had less attaching to do. Less components to attach. Transform drivers. Smooth transform. Give it a smooth speed of, I don't know, 10. And I'll do that with the rest. Okay, I attached a smooth transform to all of them. I actually want these to all be in the exact same location because otherwise they won't follow exactly. It's like if you got 2 following along at an offset and this one bounces, instead of going to the edge and bouncing, it'll just kind of bounce together. That's no good. We want them all at the exact same position, which I will just set to 0, 0, 0 for all of them. Except its position is being driven by the smooth transform. I guess I have to turn off the smooth transform before I can set their position. I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? I don't know why it was pink. When I said I don't know why it was pink, I'm referring to these boxes here. I was thinking pink meant it was being driven. In this case, it would be driven by the smooth transform. But it's letting me set it anyway, even if it doesn't go out to 0. Okay, I've got all those set to smooth transforms. Now I need this first one to always follow the sphere that has all the logics attached. There is a copy global transform component, but I don't think that the smooth transform and copy global transform would play well together. So I'm going to create another object. Actually, I may not even need to do that. I think I can make it a child of the moving sphere, and the smooth transform will work as the parent moves. Let's try that. Of course, it lost its position offset. Now I'm just going to stop the moving one for a moment. Set its position to 0s, and then we'll restart it. Oops, I set the position of the wrong one. That's okay, I just set the sphere with all the logics attached to position 0. Okay, they're all attached together. I'll make it start. Well, they're following it a little too closely. They are following it, but they are... Like I said, I don't think smooth transform is the right component for this anyway. I just figured it would be easy to try. Maybe it was a smooth speed. I forget whether a high smooth speed or a small smooth speed makes it move slower. Let me just try setting the smooth speed to like 2. See what happens. Now it's trailing further behind. Possibly too far behind. That's probably fine. I'm going to set the smooth speed to 2 on all of them. And there are ways that we can make these reference a global source, so I don't have to go set this everywhere if I want to change it. But for this test, I'm not going to bother. Okay. Can you see that going on behind all this stuff here? The 4 balls are following the leader. So actually that works okay. Now one problem here is that they're not following its exact path. They're kind of moving towards it. So if you watch when it bounces, these don't have the hard bounce. They just follow a smooth curve around the corner, which is an interesting effect, but it wasn't exactly what I was going for. Okay, let's see if I can do something more like what I was thinking. Now, I think instead of having the lines move smoothly, I think I want them to move in steps, and each line will be in the exact same position as the one it's following was previously, so it will look like the lines aren't actually moving in space. It'll look like kind of like the rear one is jumping to the front every time, or a new one appears in front and one disappears in back. I don't know. That may not look good, but I think it would be an interesting effect. So I will just stop that moving for the moment. Those catch up. I'm just going to go delete those spheres. I don't need the extra stuff that was on them. So, to make this move in steps, if we go back to the first video, the first thing I tried was a timer instead of an update. I'm going to go back to a timer, and we'll see what kind of steps make it look good. I'm thinking maybe 1/10 of a second to start. So we don't want the update anymore. That goes away. We want a timer where the update was. It's interval, try a 0.1 or so. Now my speed is going to be too slow for this because the update was happening a lot faster and I never multiplied velocity by time interval. So you probably can't see it, it's back there, but it is moving. But the speed is not good. That means I have to go to the velocity variable and multiply these by like 5 or something. Okay, now it is moving in a rather jerky manner. I'm actually not sure if that will work because it's not moving. I don't really want to slow it down too much more than that, but it's not moving more than its own diameter, and I don't want the lines overlapping. I want it to move a multiple of its own diameter. Yeah, this effect may not work like I was picturing in my mind. But let's try, instead of 0.1 second, we'll do 0.5 seconds, and we'll multiply all the velocities by 5 again. See how that looks. You're in the way of my scene inspector here. Okay, what does that look like? That's really jumping around, isn't it? Well, let's see what it looks like when we add following spheres. So, I need another sphere because I deleted all my other ones. And I'll do all the logics on this one sphere and then copy it so that I don't have to recreate so much logics. This is back on the root again. I don't want you on the root. Okay, renamed it follower 1. Now what this has to do is whenever this gets its position updated, which is what this right node right here does, this one should go to its previous position. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. Well, you know, we got a sequence node here. What we may do is put a sequence in between the if and the right, and the first step will copy the position of the leader to the position of the follower. Whoops, didn't mean to open that. And then the second step will do the right of the new position for the leader. Let's try that and see how it works. If I can remember where sequence was that in flow? Yes, sequence. So the if no longer goes to the right, it goes to the sequence. The right is the second thing in the sequence. Now the first thing will be a right, which I believe was in actions. What is a drive anyway? I think that lets you have one field copying its value to another. It's probably something I can do with a right latch also. That would, write the value in here, and then every time it updates, it would, I don't know. I bet this would work fine. This would work too, or a right latch or a buffer or something, but I'm going to do the sequence. So the first in the sequence is to write the input value as the position of the leader, and that's going to write into the position of the follower, which I need to get a, I don't know what you call it, LogiX interface for. There it is. It's the leader, that's the follower. Write its position. There it goes. That's easy. That's really not much harder than using the smooth transform thing. Kind of looks like they're just jumping around rather than following each other, though. The problem is that the smoother I make them move, the closer together they are, unless this is delayed by more than just one movement point. Yeah, I may end up going with a smooth transform after all. Well, I can make those a little closer together. Let's make it twice as fast and half the movement distance. I think that will still have a good separation between them. Set the velocity. Point would be 125. 0.3 half would be 0.15. Half 0.2 would be 0.1. Yeah, I'm not really sure that that's what I want. But let's set up 4 followers anyway, just to see what it looks like. And it will look different with lines too. But that's a whole nother thing to set up again. I'm going to make some copies of follower 1. Yep, that didn't copy the LogiX. I probably would have had to pack the LogiX and then copy it to copy the LogiX. That's fine. This is simple enough. It's not hard to redo. Okay, so this was follower 1, follower 2, follower 3. Oops, no, that's follower. I'm not sure if that's 3 or 4. Try that again. Follower 3, follower 4, now we can have a sequence node for each of these kind of chained, or I can expand this sequence to do all 4 of them. I think that I will just expand this sequence. And we have to make sure to update them in reverse order so that we're not overwriting one of the positions before we copy it. So we actually have to write, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, one more. We have to write the main one last. All right. I got too many connections here. Well, I'll go reverse. We want to write the last one in the line first. Second to last, third to last, fourth to last. And then this one we'll write the main one. Okay. This one's already set up. This one, we're taking this guy's position, copying it to this one. Then we're taking this guy's position, copying it to this one. This guy's position goes to this one. All right, where's my turn on? There's my turn on. Kind of hard to see what it looks like with all this stuff in the way. Anyway, that's what the effect looks like with no lines. Kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure if it's what I was envisioning. I think I really need to see it with the lines on it to know what it will look like. I suppose I could do one of each. Have one with smooth transform and one with this herky-jerky movement. I don't think I want them to get any closer together than that at that diameter. It definitely would not look right if the lines start intersecting each other. And that's, what, maybe a diameter and a half spacing between them? I could always make the lines smaller, too. I wanted them to be visible when they're up in the sky like those ones. But they may not have to be quite as big as they are currently.